Out of all the factory games out there, Astroneer has some of the best pacing in how you progress. There is a steady ramp up from you hand harvesting resources, to getting vehicles that solve your inventory problems, to automating your resource gathering with trains and extractors. Our journey begins on the forest planet known as Silva. However, we have a whole solar system to explore. Each world has its own unique resources that we must get in order to progress in the game. We have a lot of flying to do. Let's get started. Our Astroneer has limited oxygen and limited inventory in the beginning, but the cool part of Astroneer is that it does not take very many resources to solve these problems. For oxygen, tethers take some compound. These tethers link us to our main base and allow us to explore farther for more resources. For inventory, we will need to get access to tractors. This takes a bit more than tethers, but it only takes a small amount of aluminum to craft it.
But Mal, how do you actually produce these things? Instructions unclear, I just blew myself up.
To those of you without self-combustion problems, Astroneer requires power to produce items. It also requires research to unlock items. We will be generating power by harvesting a resource called organic from plants. It's infinitely renewable and produces a lot of power. But you can go with solar or wind power if you don't want to bother with auto arms automating your organic supply. For research, you can put nearly anything into the research chamber to generate points, from organic that we generate infinitely to big chunky research items. Keep those points flowing and the power flowing to the research chambers. Much like other factory games, you need to smelt metals in order to use them. Once we have our aluminum smelted, we can make a tractor and some trailers to attach to it. This is easily going to triple our inventory. Vehicles need their own source of power, but one awesome side effect is that they supply you with infinite oxygen anywhere you go. Our boundaries of exploration have just expanded to the whole planet. Awesome, look at us go, plus we can do cool stunts like driving off a cliff. Unlike me, who can't take a tiny jump off my base I am building. Speaking about bases, I hate lawn bases in Astroneer, where all my stuff is out in the open. I want a cool outpost on Silva that is colored and has inside lights. I also want to have a rocket silo that has claws, reaching up to the sky. A very fitting base for a warlord, right? Well, the time has come to go to the next planet for tungsten. The small shuttle here takes a small amount of aluminum to craft, and will get us around just fine until we can build something bigger to haul more. Woohoo! Lift off! It's at this point we need tungsten to start chemistry. Tungsten is found on Calidor. Tungsten comes from wolframite ore found on Calidor. It is important for building the chemistry lab. The chemistry lab can produce combined resources used in more advanced vehicles and tools. Alright, Calidor time. This will be a simple in and out operation. Wolframite is found in the mountains. We will score some and get back to Silva for our chemistry lab. I brought a tractor and some light storage I can use on the small shuttle's oxygenator slot. This will guarantee we bring back a decent amount of wolframite. Well, that did not take long at all. We only need 1 tungsten for our lab, but I will grab some more for some advanced drill upgrades and other stuff. Alright, time to head home with our loot. Mission accomplished. Let's get back so we can start up the new chemistry lab. This landing site looks so cool, descending into the clawed silo. I love it. Alright, we got the chemistry lab crafted up. I like putting a lot of the platforms on the wall and ceiling. It makes everything easy to reach for our small base on Silva. But there are a lot of individual resources that I need a lot of. Storing them like this on the wall takes up a lot of room. By using the chemistry lab to make plastic, I can make resource canisters that can hold 32 of a single type of resource. This will allow me to store tons of resources. Plus, they can input or output automatically. These containers hold 32 of a resource. I can quickly smelt and store 32 aluminum now. At this stage in the game, we are free to explore wherever we want in the galaxy. Harder planets like the frozen Glacio or the radioactive Atrox provide the most research points for more advanced vehicles and tools. It's time to head to Glacio to build our real base. Glacio is probably the biggest upgrade planet in Astroneer. You get access to titanium and iron here. These resources are used in producing the biggest vehicles and storage structures we will need to tame this solar system. On top of this, it has the richest resources for research outside of Atrox. This makes it a prime choice for our main base. I really hate lawn bases, but I want to build a really expansive underground base on Glacio with an underground rocket silo. To do this, I will need some heavy-duty drilling vehicles. But in order to get that, I need exochips and gases. Let's head back to Silva for some of these. With the iron from Glacio, we can build atmospheric condensers. These produce different gases depending upon what planet we are on. It costs a lot of power, but they help produce all the endgame resources for the big toys we want. So we set up 2 atmosphere condensers on Silva. One for hydrogen, which we will use a lot of. The other one for nitrogen, which we will use not so much of. I will use the excess gas for research points, since I won't use a lot of nitrogen. Exochips are another matter. Those you have to find by discovering caches on your compass. Then once found, you have to blow them up with explosives. Then each cache will contain a small amount of them. However, later on, we get a way to obtain lots of exochips. Stick around for when we get into trains. Yeah, hey buddy boy. Nothing like some explosives to fatten our rack of exochips. The first thing we are going to want is the largest shuttle in the game, which is called the Large Shuttle. Once our shuttle is stacked with storage, it's time to get the rest of the gases on the most dangerous planet, Atrox. So I build up 3 sets of atmospheric condensers and enough power to slowly let them collect sulfur, methane, and helium. This is the start of my underground shuttle silo on Glacio. I love that you can see it launch out of the ground. Atrox is a very deadly planet in Astroneer. One time I had a plant shoot an explosive bullet at me that destroyed my rocket's thruster. That marooned me on the planet since I did not bring a backup. That sucked. Well, let's get moving on setting up this gas outpost. It will be a simple setup of wind generators and 3 gas collectors. Methane and helium are the most important gases here, since they are used in the most advanced resources in the game, silicone and nanocarbon alloys. With these resources combined, we outfit and build a heavy rover. This thing is a monster. The drill on it is much bigger than what I have. The paver on the front of it can flatten land perfectly. On top of all this, it can drill and collect resources into a ton of storage on top of it. With this vehicle, I can begin large-scale industrialization of our planets. It's time to set up the Glacio base. I want roads that lead to different areas: power, industry, and storage. Tunnels to the mantle for extractors, and trains to drag up raw resources for our industry sector. I want the roads orange. I want the inside to be black. There we go. The base is done, and looking great with plenty of room. Well, that was a lot of digging, but we have a lot more digging to be done. I want to get trains going, but they need a lot of copper from Silva. It's time to set up extractors and trains. Then we will be rolling in the resources. The mantle of each planet has the richest deposits of the resources they provide. For Silva, this means lots of copper. To mine these resources, we need an auto-extractor. This structure provides 15 times the amount of resources from each resource. This means hundreds of copper from a large node. We are fucking rich, but the extractor just pulls it out of the ground. To get it back to base to be smelted, we need a train network. For this, you simply run a rail line from the resource to your base. Then we set up the sensors on the train to detect if the train station is full. The train station loads the car and sends it back up to your base. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But I want more than just copper. I need ammonia for rocket fuel and aluminum for a ton of everything else. So I set up a shipping and receiving center where each resource gets smelted and then stored. This is so I can easily get it back to Glacio base. However, I will need more exochips for building more heavy rovers for each planet. In the core of each planet is a resource called Astronium. This can be mined and traded at the trade platform in exchange for exochips. This makes it so we don't have to go hunting for caches and explode them for dynamite. Blast off to nowhere. Oh yeah, buddy. Here we go. Unlimited exochips. Well, now all we have to do is get to the core of each planet. The reason why we have to go to the cores is to unlock the gateways to each of the planets and finish the game. This allows you to visit the unknown satellite and put in the triptych generated by each planet's core. What this allows is the ability to teleport to any gateway you have unlocked on any planet. Right now, you can only transport yourself. This is cool, but it would be cooler if it allowed your vehicles or storage to go through too. But the developers of the game are coming out with an expansion for interplanetary transport. This will allow you to deliver goods between each planet automatically with rocket ships. But for right now, this is still a neat ending to the game. Well, it has been a blast going through the game with you and Astroneer. I know the ending here is a bit abrupt, but there is not much else for us to do. We have shown the game's humble beginnings of hand harvesting resources, built up mighty vehicles that do a lot of hauling for us, and greatly expand our inventory. Then our bases carried us for processing all of the resources we needed to succeed. Finally, our trains did a lot in lifting our resources from the core of each planet to our processing centers. This game's pacing is awesome. It is such a breeze to get everything off of the ground. If you are looking for a building game that lets you enjoy what you want to do without too much demand, this is a great game. I will see you all on the next game as usual. Ave, atque, vale, mal.